and she actually was getting better. And we were real optimistic, sorry. And, and then all of a sudden things just started going downhill really fast for her. And she'd never had any heart issues at all. And she got an infection that traveled up to her heart. And just all of a sudden she was gone. And, it was a shock because she was the eldest of the 5 siblings. And when my parents, with both of them gone, we really leaned on her a lot. She was kind of a second mother to us. As missionary kids, as one by one we came to the States, she was here. And we leaned on her, as we were going through college and stuff like that. And relationships, we'd talk to her. And she was a second mom to us. And so it was really hard to lose her. And then 2.5 weeks ago, my brother, who became a missionary also, went back to Paraguay, where we grew up as missionary kids. He got COVID, and he was beginning to do better, but the situation in Paraguay is in such a crisis mode. There were not even hospital beds. And the doctor was even considering sending oxygen to their home for him to have some kind of medical treatment. But he actually was able to get a bed for him. And they found a room that had an extra bed in it so his wife could stay with him, because she had COVID also. So she was getting treatment, but also taking care of him because there was a shortage of nurses. And so they brought a respirator to his room and taught her how to work the machine, and she made sure he was getting his medications on time. Wow. And then he became critical, and he needed to be in ICU, but there were no ICU beds available. So they actually put him down in the ER because there was a bed there that they could flip him over on his stomach, because that's one thing that will help them be able to breathe. And after, I guess it was 3 weeks of him fighting this, his body just was tired. And he also had never had an issue with a heart problem at all. And his heart just began, he had a heart attack. And, but he wasn't responding to any treatments that they were giving him. And his organs began to fail before that. And the family had decided there in Paraguay that they were going to not do anything else, to prolong it, because his body was so tired. And so he had a heart attack on that Monday morning on April the 26th. And, he was gone. And he and I are not even a year apart. So I think we're called Irish twins. And so we did so much together growing up. We shared a lot of birthday parties together. And it's just been really hard to lose 2 siblings, within 5 months. And my sister did not have access to the vaccines yet. I really believe she would have taken the vaccines. My brother, there were no vaccines available in Paraguay. They had only given out, in all of the country, they had only given out 10,000 vaccines. And so, and people were sitting in chairs in the hospitals to try to get treatment because there were no beds available. I think there were only 100 ICU beds in the whole country. And we take so much for granted here in America, that we are so blessed for the access that we have. And I'm grateful that we've got the vaccines. We've taken the vaccines, And I was thrilled yesterday when I heard the news that those of us that have gotten the vaccines, we don't have to have masks anymore, and we don't have to social distance, unless we're just in a really tight space with a lot of people. But, I feel like their lives would have been spared if they could have gotten the vaccines.
It must hurt to know that there are people who are just refusing the vaccine, refusing this help, when your sister and your brother, they really could have used that. I know that's probably why you posted in the Yukon group. That's got to hurt a little bit.
It does. And, And it really stung to hear people say, oh, this is a hoax. This whole thing is a hoax. But I've got two precious people that are gone, and it's not a hoax. And I know it's a very personal choice what people do. But to know that people's lives can be saved with it, you know, growing up, we had to have so many vaccines. You know, we would live in South America for 4 years, come back for a year, you know, so we would visit the churches that supported us. And before we went back, we had to get more vaccines, more shots.
I can imagine, yeah.
It was it's a matter of life. And you know, I don't understand the hesitancy to get something that could save a life, or, you know, and it's not, I could still get the virus, but I really believe that my body has antibodies now that will help, and I may have to get a booster shot at some point, but I have no fear of that. That's been a way of life for me to take vaccines. And my husband is a veteran. He got shots all the time too. So, but to know that they could have had the vaccines if they'd been available, and I know they would have taken them because we grew up taking vaccines. And those that laugh at this virus and say it's all a hoax, it's not. And I read, or I heard on the news this morning somewhere, someone lost 5 siblings to the virus. That just blows my mind.
There's a family in Okarchi. You may have seen it on Channel 4. I believe it's the Anishok family. Heartbreaking.
Yes.
And one after another, and just all we can do is, I don't know, you know, working in the news business, I can't really have an opinion, but
right.
I do believe as a citizen, all we can do is get the vaccine and pray, you know? Yes,
yes. And, you know, I know there are side effects, and some people, you know, may have an adverse reaction, but the numbers, your chance of dying from the COVID are so much greater than if you have a side effect from the vaccine. It just doesn't make sense to me to not get the vaccine.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, is there anything else that you want to add? Anything else you want to say?
You know, I need to thank so many people who have prayed for me and my family and have been so generous to us. They've helped to help with the expense of my brother's medical expenses down there. And, you know, we've got people praying around the world, and I'm so grateful for that. And I would like to say one more thing. I've discovered through this how important it is to be together with family when you lose somebody. You need to be with the family to say goodbye. Because now that I've not gotten to be with my brother was, that family was required to bury my brother the same day that he passed away. Because the COVID situation is so serious in Paraguay. So they only had just a few hours to throw together a service in Paraguay. And so there was no live stream service. We didn't get to write our last farewell, you know, thoughts that we'd like to share together. And that has really made it difficult for me. I've mourned deeper somehow because not being together with a family. And so I would encourage everybody, if you lose someone, do everything you can to be together and share those precious memories and laughter. When my sister passed away, we mourned and we cried, but oh, we laughed at, you know, the memories that we shared together. And it was such a healing time. And then it brought closure to be together and say goodbye together. And I would encourage families, you know, you may not think, well, you know, it's expensive to make the trip and hotel room and gasoline expense, but the emotional expense of not being together is really great. So I would encourage people, be together. And if there's some family issues, you need to get past those. You need to get over those because you need to be together. You really do.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me. I know our schedules haven't clicked up until now. So thank you so much for making this work. And I just think that your story is so powerful and is important. And so I'm going to put together a story for Sunday, because I work on Sundays, which is why I'm off today. So if you have any pictures of your siblings that you want to send me,
I will. All right. Thank you, Jess. I appreciate it very much.
Have a good rest of your day. Bye, Mike.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Jess.
Bye. No, that was sweet. She's really nice.
Mm-hmm. See, I don't know if that recorded on this phone or not.
Did you record on it?
I have it over here.